it's a shame that the Jamaican government think that they have more important things to address. Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a shooting incident that led to the death of a 16-year-old in Crossroads. This incident happened about a week ago, and I was quite aware of the incident, but I kind of refrained from touching the incident because it's kind of like a repetitive type of incident in Jamaica. And to be honest, my personal feeling towards those repeat incidents of young children or adults or Jamaican on a whole dying, it's a depressing one. However, a subscriber of mine reached out to me and asked to share my feeling towards the incident in hopes that it gives the parents of the deceased some aid of direction. The thing about these incidents, when someone died by the hands of a police officer, security guard, or on the job, the sad thing about those things is you can only be compensated, if you're successful in a court of law. When someone dies and it was under unjust circumstances, I mean, there are usually the criminal side of it legally, and there's the civil side of it legally. When it comes to loved ones, especially children, I personally just do not believe that any financial compensation could actually make me whole again, to the loss of my loved one. Anyway, this involves a security guard company in Jamaica by the name of KingAlarm Systems. KingAlarm Systems reported to a breaking in that was going on Brentford Road, which is now called Studio One Boulevard, in the Crossroad Kingston 5 area. Upon arriving in the area, security guards saw 3 youths that was coming in the opposite direction on foot. This is actually on a video that's been circulating on social media. If you guys want to check it out to see if you support my argument in the conclusion of my video or you don't support it. Anyway, back to my story. The security guard vehicle was coming in one direction and the 3 boys was walking in the opposite direction towards the car. So they were about to pass each other's. What I saw in the video is that the car slowed down and there must have been some brief conversation, because the 3 boys immediately walked over to the car as it slowed down, and within an instant of walking over to the car, one of the 3 boys jetted off. He just legged it. He did not even wait an instant. So I don't know what happened. The video wasn't clear, but one kid ran immediately. The other 2 was briefly there, and it seemed like one fell to the floor, and the next thing that was shown in the video is the 3rd one that was left tried to run. The callousness of the video is when the 2 security guards emerged from the vehicle. They were just nonchalantly shooting at these boys. So it was at that time I assumed that the one that fell earlier was actually shot and killed. That was hard for me to witness, that was hard for me to see, and it did cast a cloud of just pure depression over me just by watching that brief video. Anyway, so now I want to put my 2 cents in, and I can say without a doubt, from the view, I'm speaking from a legal point of view now, from what I've seen on the video, KingAlarm is clearly at fault. 100% at fault. In no court of law could KingAlarm defend that shooting and the murder of the kid, and it could be justified. It could not be justified. And I'm going to tell you why, in my view and in my legal knowledge, it cannot be justified. One, KingAlarm is a private security company. Therefore, they are not public officers. They are not police officers. They are not allowed to apprehend anyone on the street. They're not allowed to shoot anyone on the street. The KingAlarm are responsible for private properties that they were hired to secure. And if, in fact, these three boys were the culprits of the breaking in, if KingAlarm was not fast enough to catch them on the spot, KingAlarm would have just lost out right there, because their jurisdiction is pretty much the property that hired them, and not actually Studio One Boulevard or no other public streets in Jamaica. So my argument is that if KingAlarm suspected these three kids, what KingAlarm should have done is call the police officers. And even if they want to trail behind these three kids just to see where they go until the police come, they are free to do that. But they cannot apprehend these boys on the street. And if they were not on a property that KingAlarm actually was hired to secure, there should be no confrontation, there should be no conflict between the security guard and these three youths. However, let's flip that coin and let's say these boys were actually guilty, and let's go with the argument that KingAlarm went with, because KingAlarm actually says one of the boy left running, and the two that came to the window, one lifted up his shirt and he showed that he didn't have any weapon, and then he quickly pulled out a gun, and that's when the KingAlarm security guard was fast enough to react and shot the kid. But from the video, that's not what was shown. From the video, the unarmed kid, the kid that was running for his life, he was being shot at very casually. And it is clear that KingAlarm is at fault. My question is, well, it's not really a question. I just know when it comes to security guard companies, there has to be protocol. And these security officers has to know their protocol. And I'm almost sure that their protocol involve contacting the real police, because most security guards are either guys that didn't make it in the police force, guys that either got kicked out of the police force, or guys that actually got kicked out of the correctional system in Jamaica. They're usually faulty already in their previous career, or they are guys that didn't have what it takes to make it to becoming real cops, real police officers. It is transparent that their illiteracy, let's call it illiteracy, or their lack of comprehension, or their lack of following protocol is kind of a bad attribute to have. And these security companies such as KingAlarm should not take on ex-cops or ex-correctional officer, especially if they didn't make it, or they were kicked out, or they were fired. And KingAlarm, in my opinion, has to bring it back to the drawing board and start doing retraining of their officers. I think KingAlarm should be reviewed by the Jamaican government, the Jamaican Minister of Justice or Minister of Security. I think KingAlarm should be held highly responsible for the death of this kid, and I think the parents of this child should pretty much file a lawsuit against KingAlarm. That's pretty much it. Unfortunately, in cases like this, like I say, the only thing comes out of this is a monetary compensation. And this child, sadly, he was only 16 years old. And I know a lot of my viewers will say, well, what were a 16-year-old doing on the street at such unsociable hour? Because I found out that it was kind of like really late in the night or early morning. But in my opinion, that is irrelevant. I mean, we all know that we have wayward juveniles that don't follow their parents' guidance and rules. They're all over the world. But even if they are wayward, it does not give a police officer or a security guard the right to take these children's life. And if Jamaicans sit down and say nothing about incidents like this, it's just gonna keep repeating itself. I wish that most Jamaicans would travel and see the world and see how other countries treat their citizens. Not all countries treat their citizens with such utterly disregard. The death of a 16-year-old in under circumstances like this should be a big deal in Jamaica. But unfortunately, the Jamaican society has gotten so immune to people dying under violent situation or by security guard or by police officer that they just continue on their life. It's like nothing happened. It's like it's just another day. I know that for poor people in the hood, most of them are illiterate, and I know that the ones that are not illiterate don't quite know the rules or the regulation or their rights in Jamaica. And the ones who do know the rules, the regulation, and the rights, money is an issue. And I understand that there's not a lot of pro bono lawyers in Jamaica, but I would say to most people who find themselves in a situation that they have a legal argument, if you can't afford an attorney, find out where the rules are written, where the laws are, invest some time into it, and if you have to represent yourself, represent yourself. Even if you fail at court, at least, you know what, you did your best and you put your best foot forward, and you will learn from the mistake. You will learn where you went wrong. But I don't think the parents of this child or the children, because even though all three weren't killed, I saw with my 2 eyes on the video that the security guards were actually trying to kill the other 2. And that in itself is a crime, in my view. And the security guard, from what I've read and understood, have only been taken off frontline duty. That's not enough. These guys need to be prosecuted. And KingAlarm, you got to get your act together. The CEO of KingAlarm, you got to get your act together. You got to screen your security guards, and you got to also screen their intellectual level. You have to understand that you need competent security guard that's representing your name. You can't just be putting guns in the hands of trigger-happy rejects or trigger-happy fools that's going to go out and just believe that, well, I suspect these 3 kids must have been the ones that were breaking in, so I'm going to kill them. Can't do that. Can't do that. It is a shame. It is a shame that the Jamaican government don't even make a big deal out of this. It's a shame that the Jamaican government think that they have more important things to address. That's pretty much all I have to say today about that. I hope that I satisfy the requirements of my subscriber that asked me to address the issue, and I look forward to hear what you guys have to say, especially you guys who are aware of it, because it's about 7 days old now. It's an old story in Jamaica. This is considered old. So let me know what you guys have to say. Let me know how you feel about my view and my suggestion, because like I always say on this channel, each one teach one. And leave your comment. I accept thumbs up, thumbs down, positive or negative comment. People, thanks for watching. Until next time, peace.